We have this ridiculous story that we're working with today. We just had Woj on live. Let me catch up if you're just waking up and you haven't seen it, because it's nuts. It involves the alleged Twitter habits of Philadelphia 76ers president of basketball operations, Bryan Colangelo. They've come under scrutiny because of a report, a fascinating one, on The Ringer. The story uses circumstantial evidence and very strong stuff to paint a picture of the NBA front office veteran using multiple fake anonymous Twitter accounts to support his own work in Philadelphia, and at the same time taking shots at, among others, his team's own players, including Joel Embiid and Markelle Fultz, and former Sixers Jahlil Okafor and Nerlens Noel. Now, Embiid spoke to our Adrian Wojnarowski. We just had Woj on here a few minutes ago, and he characterized the conversation. And here is basically the simplest way to sum up what it is that Embiid said to Woj. He said, I talked to him, and he said that he didn't say that. He called me just to deny the story. Gotta believe him until proven otherwise. If true, though, that would be really bad. So that's sort of where it is. There's a ton to unpack in this story, and you really have to read through all of it to get a full sense of it. But to sum it up completely, there is extraordinary circumstantial evidence that suggests that Bryan Colangelo, who's been himself an executive around the league for decades, and who was raised in the sport because his father owned the Phoenix Suns a generation ago and now runs USA Basketball, had 5 Twitter accounts in which he was sharing all kinds of information that was crazy. So let's pick up the conversation. Jay Williams, your immediate thought is?
How do you have enough time to have 5 Twitter accounts and balance the rest of your life? I've known Jerry Colangelo for a long time, Brian's father. Dealt with him for USA Basketball, dealt with Brian when he was with the Raptors. He's a first-class executive. If these are true, then he has to be gone, because he's just completely annihilated the trust within this team. But I'm also confused a little bit by this, because I don't understand it. If one of these accounts was his, why would you knock a guy like Jahlil Okafor, who was an asset that you were trying to move? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Right. Why are you trying to sabotage him or demean him if you're trying to move that asset to get something more for Jahlil Okafor?
Right. He was. What he said about Okafor, as I read the story, was that people criticized them. You may recall the circumstances. Okafor didn't play for a couple of games, and then the trade deadline came and went, and he didn't get traded, and people were ripping them. And this Twitter account basically said, why don't you check and find out if he failed a physical, and that's the reason the trade didn't go through. So he's sort of covering for himself and making Okafor look bad. It's just a mess of a situation. Here's my overriding thought, Maria. In the society in which we live today, if you get caught in something that you didn't want the world to know, you have 2 options. One is admit it immediately and apologize. The other is deny it. If you deny it, which is the option he has chosen, again, maybe he didn't do this, and if he didn't do it, then maybe, eventually he will be fully cleared. But if you did do it, and you deny it, and you get caught, then you're done. Yeah. Right? It's that simple. If you get caught and you did it, the immediate reaction has to be, you know what? I did it, my bad, I'm so sorry, then maybe you have some chance of survival. But having denied it now, I think if it turns out to have been him, he has no chance. You have to go. Or you have to get Olivia Pope, one of those. You have a couple of options. But I also was just thinking about it, and we know that Joel Embiid is constantly on Twitter. I mean, he's one of my favorite athletes to follow on Twitter. Maybe this is like a psychological strategy. The only way that I can think why you would go and attack someone who is a centerpiece of your program, that is a centerpiece of your organization, is because he takes everything personal on Twitter. Like maybe he's going to see something, it'll light a fire under him. I mean, I don't know. That's the only other conversation I could have around why. I just want to know the motive of having these 5 tweets.
Well, we're always on social media, right? Yeah. So when you start having this many followers, there's no way you can pay attention to everything that people say. Or you learn how to say, you know what, I'm not going to reply to that. It's not worth my time. So I can hear what you guys are saying. Hey, maybe it's another channel for him to vent or talk trash. But who's listening to 76 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? He's tweeting this stuff like at Sixers beat reporters and people like that. That's so that's who these accounts were tweeting at. And I guess if there's enough of them that maybe someone sees something and follows a story that he wants followed. Again, we have to throw the allegedlys in all the right places, because the Ringer doesn't have it with certainty that this was Colangelo doing it, but boy, the circumstantial evidence is overwhelming. And you mentioned that Embiid is your favorite Twitter follower. Let's do it. You must have had a very good day yesterday. It's no surprise. Embiid was. So that's the first reaction. Just that face is everything.
That was everyone's face when they heard the story. Bruh.
And then 2 more tweets. One of them, Joel told me that Sam Hinkie is better and smarter than you.
Well, he did put together the actual team. Yeah. Bryan Colangelo just fine-tuned it.
And another fun night on Twitter. All jokes aside, I don't believe the story. That would just be insane. So that's the position that Embiid has taken for the moment. Let us see.